the hard part about all of this is that he kept telling me, you know, if it was a choice, I'd choose you in a heartbeat. And he didn't.
I am going through the worst heartbreak of my life right now.
I was a very strong, independent woman. I don't need no man. I had that type of attitude and mindset in life. I made more money, so I thought that my plans in life were better than his. Also, I had that I struggled allowing him to discipline at first. And my mouth and attitude were horrible.
Someone explain to me why boyfriends collectively across the entire internet seem to be terrified of their girlfriends going to Miami. What happens in Miami? Do guys pull up as soon as you arrive at the airport, shirtless in light blue Bentleys, telling you there's an airport afters where the Hello Kitty is gonna be with the entire Sanrio crew? Is there matcha latte on draft? You've heard of Build-A-Bear. There's Build-A-Birkins at these parties. What is going on? Can someone explain to me why men are so afraid of Miami?
I'm a whole new person, a whole different person, and I'm still gonna get treated like the person I was 5-10 years ago.
That's an unfortunate reality of life, because not everybody can empathize with what you went through or understand from a perspective to where they can overlook the fact that they may be turned off. Even if you are a different person and you didn't do what you did in the past, if a guy has a natural visceral response to where, oh no, I'm turned off by that, it's the same thing as women who get icks from when men do certain things. Dating is not fair, and that's one of the ways in which dating isn't fair. So you make mistakes, and sometimes you can't put the toothpaste back in the bottle, and you have to accept the consequences that come with the mistakes that you made, and you can only hope that you'll find somebody who's more accommodating and more understanding of your situation. As a woman, when you put yourself in position to where you have diminished your market value, you have to be more receptive and open to the opportunities that present themselves.
Black women have had the most resistance to accountability, not just in my practice, but we just see it across the board. Black women seem to have, I don't get any pleasure saying this, y'all. I think this is super sad. Black women seem to have trouble taking responsibility for their own impact on their lives and have a hard time taking responsibility for course correcting in order to change. Black women have resisted coming to the table. Women are largely silent. At this point, y'all, it's not a good use of time to try to shake women out of a stupor. And it's so sad. If you're a woman like that, come out. We have to move on to people who already get it, men who are already on board, women who are already on board. We cannot stay here with y'all anymore.
I am going through the worst heartbreak of my life right now. I followed my boyfriend across the country, no ring on my finger, because he was going to go to medical school. And for a year and a half up until then, things were next to perfect. Like, this was my dream relationship. We were on the same page, compatible in every way that it mattered, and we had serious conversations about marriage and kids and what our future would look like together. Now, my job is social media, it's content creation, so that makes it really flexible for me to have moved with him. You know, he's never really been into social media, which was fine. I actually found it refreshing, because what girl doesn't want a guy who's offline? It just hurt that he wasn't supportive of me when I dropped everything to move across the country with him. I left my family, my church, my friends, my studio, because I chose him. Like, I wanted to be with him. And some of you have been saying, like, oh, he love bombed you. I don't believe that. Like, I believe that he wanted to make it work too for a while. I really wanted to marry him. I would have done anything to support him and his dreams and ambitions, even sacrificing my own. And I do realize now how wrong that is, because you shouldn't exist just to be a character in someone else's life. So everything changed after we moved. I knew it would, but I didn't think that it would lead to our demise. He just took on every extracurricular under the sun, which I encouraged him to do because I wanted him to get everything out of this experience that he wanted to get out of it. But there was nothing left for me. I just saw that he wanted to be a doctor more than he wants a life with me. Not that he ever had to choose between the two. He already had me. I was so devoted to him, even without a ring. But I was carrying so much of the weight, and I just saw myself long-term being unhappy if we couldn't find a balance where both of our needs could be met, because I felt really alone. Things really started to bottle up, and over the holidays when we had an opportunity of, break from school to actually address some things and talk some stuff through, we tried, and we just couldn't. 3 weeks earlier, I had been sitting with his mom over Thanksgiving talking about marrying him this summer. I mean, we wanted to elope, and then suddenly that was it. We were just done. I mean, we were visiting my family in Florida at the time for Christmas, and He left me there. I never returned to Virginia. I'd just been devastated and in shock for weeks that he would give up so quickly as soon as things got hard, because despite everything I was sacrificing, I still wanted to make it work. And I don't know at what point a person decides to throw in the towel and say it would be easier to start over instead of just working through whatever it is with the person you've invested years into. But you know, it stings. It stings and it makes you look at love differently. But now that several weeks have gone by, I can reflect and see how maybe this is a blessing in disguise for me. I can see that maybe he did something that I couldn't do. You know, maybe God has a plan that is so much greater than anything I could understand, because I do believe that I deserve someone who supports my dreams and ambitions. I deserve someone who has time and energy for me. I deserve someone who stays and who doesn't quit, you know? I want to say he's not a bad guy. I have a lot of love for him. Do I feel kicked to the curb? Yeah. Do I feel very sad? Yeah, but I'm still gonna pray for him. I want the world for him. I know he is going to be a fantastic doctor, and this is his dream come true. So, you know, I'm just gonna be rooting for him from afar, and instead of, you know, the love I poured into him, I get to put it into myself now, and I think that's a beautiful thing in itself too, because I know the character development is gonna be so crazy, and I'm excited to share with you guys the person I become. As some of you have said, he is not the sun, but I'm gonna get my spark back. So thank you guys for watching. If you're going through a heartbreak, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. We are gonna get through this, and I am sending you my love right back. Okay, thanks guys.
Well, without knowing his side of the story, and I appreciate her for trying to be as fair and unbiased as possible, but obviously have women in the comments, his loss, his this, his that. He's not losing anything, right? He wanted to be a doctor. That's what he wanted to be. He knew this, and pretty much anybody who ever goes through this knows that this is what it's going to be, right? They know this. So you're probably talking about something that he's saying, listen, I can't focus on that now. I got to focus on this. And that's what he decided to do. Okay. Go your way, do your thing, and let him go his way and do his thing. Just because he's decided this is really what I want to do. If we can't get on the same schedule, then maybe we need to go ahead and cut it right here before any of us gets even further, even deeper into this. Should you have moved across state without a ring? Probably not. But you live and you learn. Be happy. Move on. Do something else.
Because we can only change ourselves, we can't change other people. I will only tell y'all what I did wrong. I was a very strong, independent woman. I don't need no man. I had that type of attitude and mindset in life. I made more money, so I thought that my plans in life were better than his. So I wasn't looking for a partnership or teamwork. I had the mindset that I already got this plan laid out. Just come and help me with mine. And then we both will live good. That didn't leave a lot of space for him to be a leader, for him to have input in our future. So that's one thing that happened in my marriage that led to our divorce. Also, I struggled allowing him to discipline at first. I felt like I was the only one that could raise my son. You being mean, you aren't raising him out of love. You're just raising him to be mean and stern. And because I didn't understand at the time that how a father parents is going to be totally different than how a mother parents. Those are two things. And my mouth and attitude were horrible. I was very masculine. I had no problem arguing. We gonna argue like two is on the street, because what you ain't gonna do is talk crazy. Two people can't be angry and both lose control of their emotions.
Amanda be right here, right?
And I should have had better control of mine. So that's what happened to my first marriage.
Let me tell you my theory as to why so many men are complaining that they can't find a good woman. Because every time a good woman says, hey, I really like you, I want to be with you exclusively, they run. That's why.
Men will deny this, but they're lying when they say they want peace. They love selfish, independent, unbothered women that are difficult and stress them out. Women that are too nice and predictable don't give them enough to worry about.
What do y'all even be talking about? Is this the female version of nice guys finish last? No, seriously, relationships aside, why would you want to be a rude, selfish, obnoxious person? Why does independent have to mean that you're difficult and stress people out, especially your loved ones? Why would you want to promote to other women that in order to find a relationship with a man, they need to be this type of person and a bad partner? Having these traits, justifying these traits, and then trying to instill these negative traits in other women is just harmful for everybody. Not to mention that being like, yeah, anyone from this demographic that says they want a peaceful, nice, happy relationship are lying. It's just ridiculous. People that come on this app and try to tell the opposite gender that they're lying about what they like are just annoying. And if you think it's perfectly acceptable and necessary to go out of your way, to put your needs way above your partner's, not care about them and stress them out, you do not love, care, or even respect your partner nearly enough. And sure, some people do actively seek out chaotic people in relationships, but generally the people that thrive in chaos are not the types of people that you want to be with. And they're not healed enough for a healthy, non-toxic relationship. But to be fair, neither are the women promoting this. Or you may find someone that will tolerate this because they're used to this treatment, they're insecure, or they love you and feel like they need to tolerate this because you're breaking down their self-esteem. And regardless of the reason, that doesn't make that behavior okay.
Annoying because there's no situation with happy wife, miserable dad. If dad's miserable, wife miserable, kids miserable. There's no such thing as happy family, miserable dad. Dad must suffer, but he must enjoy the suffering.
God is what I said when I heard that. I never put that in a vacuum that way.
Remind me to tell you something off camera.
Okay.
Yeah.
But why?
But why he got to be miserable if she's happy?
That was exactly what I was going to ask.
I think that's not what he said.
I think the idea is
that's the assumption that people would be led to think, because me and him just had the same question.
You know why? Because when you say happy wife, happy life, it seems as if the only priority is the people outside of you.
Exactly.
Like if you said it should be happy spouse, happy house, right? Like both of us.
Agreed.
Both of us.
Absolutely agreed.
But men are
But it's
often,
not that.
It's not that. And
Men are discarded.
Men are discarded. Where it's often like, okay, you got to do whatever you got to do to make sure the house, to make sure the kids are fed, to make sure everybody's happy.
And not for nothing, it's a role that we accept.
We accept that role.
We almost ourselves
to hold up this house.
Yeah.
To make
But
sure
some
she's happy,
people,
to make sure the kids are happy.
Some people like that. Some people are proud of that. That makes them happy. Yeah, but no, I don't know if it necessarily makes them happy. We forego our happiness.
Yes.
Our happiness is an afterthought.
Secondary.
Dog, you gotta listen to. Cut it out.
Yeah.
He be saying a bunch of he a dick sometimes, but I'm telling you, he basically says that, yo, as a man, when you start ascending in age, you kind of put your happiness to, it's not like, what am I for? Ain't nobody coming to save you. Ain't nobody going to listen. You got to make it happen regardless. And you kind of live by that. Yo, we got to do the work. We got to do the work. We got to do the work. When we first came, you like, yo, we're going to put our heads down. We're going to do the work. And I think benefits going to be at the end of it. And that's what happens. And that, as a man, that's how you kind of carry through life. But your happiness ain't your priority.
Society makes that normal.
Yes.
Right?
That's why patriarchy is unhealthy for men too.
If your wife is happy and your children is happy, you know what I mean? That's all.
You're succeeding as a man, no matter if your body is killing you or any of that.
And a lot of times
you can't even complain about it.
A lot of times because you'll be looked at a certain way.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of times you can go through internal turmoil, but you have to put on a happy face when you walk into the house. Right. That applies to men when you know when they say lead outside.
Yeah.
But a lot of times you're bringing it inside. You just have to put a mask on.
Yep.
So it won't affect them.
It says something. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
It's okay. No, it's okay.
No, it says something last episode I was listening. He said if I only had $20 in my account, I would never.
They would never know.
My lady would never know.
Facts.
And I've been there before, where I'm sitting here trying to rob Peter to pay Paul. I'm borrowing money. My wife may have the money.
Words.
You know what I'm saying?
That part.
You know what I mean? But I'm going to borrow it to make this thing happen because my idea of manhood is partly about being able to take care of everybody and to be in control.
Men deserve less.
Because they're not doing more. We used to, and I don't want to go into this rhetoric, but I think
no, you should go into the rhetoric. We got time. This is all about you.
People get what they put out, and I think that like we used to live in a world, and I'm not just talking about financially because I don't want the brokies in my comments. So like, no, I've come to the conclusion that I'm probably gonna be with someone I make more money than. So y'all could cry somewhere else. I'm a trust fund baby. I don't need y'all. Anyway, back to the story. I think that men should actually find God. That's what y'all should do this year. Y'all need to be led by a real man, and Jesus Christ needs to come save the men that are on this earth, because the ones y'all sitting down, they got a short fuse. They not really connecting all the way.
Is it the men that you like, or is this all men?
Well, first of all, I don't like any particular type of man. I've literally tried to date everything, all across the board: short, tall, white, black, Asian, broke, rich, non-speaking English, speaking English, a little gay. I done tried it all. I'm trying to tell you, I done been there, done that with everything. I done gave every chance I can to everybody. I did not want to box anybody out, and it's just not my experiences. If you look anywhere, women of all races, creeds, lifestyles are saying like, this ain't it. If you got somebody, stay with them. But I cracked the code.
Yeah, maybe you need to be led by him too. This is a bad attitude, it's a terrible attitude. And, just focusing on you, this is why men are not going to approach. Your attitude is terrible. Oh, I already got it together. I got it in the bag. Oh, it's all going to be good for me. You're going to need to learn to be quiet. You're going to need to learn to be respectful. You're going to need to learn to communicate effectively, which it looks like you're still having trouble with that. And the look on your face and the attitude, I don't know a man that respects himself that's going to want to deal with that.
Shut up. You got a dog? Oh. That was your dog outside? Oh. Who? Oh. You got everything in here you need? Oh my God.
You can clean this?
Yeah. I can't take it out, but I clean it.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Trash, just take out the stuff. Alright, I got you. I appreciate you. But that's good water, though. You wouldn't drink that.
That's like infiltrating that bottle, nigga. That's not an investable. That bit ain't no Stanley. That's that's what, nigga. I buy that water all the time. I know what water it is. Nigga.
Purified drinking water. I just use it for my chemicals. That's why I just keep it right there. So you think that because it's sitting there next to that.
It's that. It's the environment. Like.
Oh my God. There you go. Check this out. So I had to shampoo your floor mats because all that sand. I don't know what you went to the beach. Yeah, it was so much sand in there. So this is our last one. So I got you right. I washed, waxed, shampooed, everything got done. It's your last one with us. I don't know if you renewing today or what. What you gonna do?
I wasn't planning on it, but I mean, I could give you like a free subscription to my OnlyFans or my Telegram.
I can see it.
Might do like a exchange or something.
I can see an invoice.
Ma'am, your stuff is probably on the internet for free. Go ahead and run this man his money.
Hey, daddy house. I just told my baby, I said, baby, it's time to go take a nap. She told me, I already take a nap at my daddy house. Why every time you come from over there for your weekend, you come here acting like a crazy person?
Nah, we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. The kids don't take naps at dad's house because the energy's always low, okay? The energy stays at a level 2, at a level 3 the whole time at dad's house. We chillin'. We lo-fi. Okay, that's why they don't take no naps. Okay, I know at mama's house, y'all wake them up and mama's house gets them up at 7 o'clock in the morning because they cleaning. They got a whole day plan. They got the vacuum hitting the hallway and the door and everything, waking the kids up. Their energy at a level 8, first thing in the morning. Yeah, they got to take a nap at 11 now. They ain't got to do that at dad's house. We chilling. And why we get them an iPad if they can't watch the iPad? And why we got snacks if they can't eat the snacks? Just because you got rules doesn't mean that there's more structure up in there, okay? Dad's place is just chilling. That's why we cool. That's why it's Gucci over here. That's why there's no problems over here, okay? Don't be dissing our household, okay? We understand this. Just because you don't understand it doesn't mean that we don't understand it and the kids understand it. That's for damn sure.
So that girl who got up here and basically telling us that she's the future, it took you for you to link with him to figure out that you wasn't his own. I could have told you that, and I've never even met the dude.
A woman went viral on TikTok yesterday. She had a quote. She said, "Men always have a girl that got away, but women don't have those." Yeah, sweetheart, that's called accountability. But before we leave it at that, isn't that wild? That men have a prevalence of contemplating on the failures of a past relationship so they can grow and move on and become a better man for hopefully the next one if they ever do let another one in. Men knowing that they're likely not to let another one in because that one really ruined them, they still want to be a better man for it, almost in honor of the absence of the woman that they lost. Where alternatively, women will just change their perspective with the universe, where men all are a problem suddenly, like men ain't shit, or men don't have chivalry, or men are emotionally closed off, or whatever, so that way they don't have to grow from that one relationship that could have taught them everything. And it gets deeper. It actually makes me wonder, do women ever actually love? Because this man loved somebody so much, he may never love someone that deeply ever again. And because he loved that person so much, he's committed to changing his life. If women don't have that, I just find it hard to believe that they have love at all. Because to love is not to guarantee that you won't lose it. I think we all have lost a love once in our life, right? But to lose a great love and never be able to take accountability for your part of why you lost it, that's just tragedy. Or mental illness.
Story time. I always make sure my husband land on his feet when I go through. Every single time I've been through, I made sure my husband landed on his feet. I lost my job back in 2010, I think, 2011. And I was like, we got 5 kids. I can't just be another stress for him. I got to figure it out. So you know what I started doing? I started selling $10 plates out my house. Moved up to where we lasted. I told him, I said, quit your job. Come on, I need some help. Got us in all type of celebrity events. We did some ever struggle. We had the cars, the clothes. We was on the trips. We was doing everything. We made good money. Okay? I got tired of doing that. I got burnt out because I was always on go. It was a lot of people that was in my face, that was just in my face because of who I was. I was pretending to be somebody else. I had a breakdown to the point where I moved to a whole nother state. Okay? My husband ain't never lived outside of Miami-Dade. He never lived nowhere else. My man said, you know what? I'm going to take a chance on my wife again and I'm going to move with her. Baby, Tayon got that man a van, 2 vans, and helped him start a medical courier service. I got me a little job because he told me, he said, you ain't got to work, just chill. He said, but our extra money, we're going to do this, that, and the third with it. And I know my habits. So I got me a little job so that I can continue my habits and not interfere with the plans that he had for us. Because, baby, but my little job I work, he makes that. My paycheck I make, he makes that in a week. In a week. Every time I went through, I made sure my husband landed on his feet. I'm that type of wife.
I had to say something. But I be telling y'all playing a game y'all not gonna win. You don't know men for real. And y'all be so deep off in the matrix. Men literally be out here telling y'all they don't value y'all, that they not falling in love with no. Is that what you want from them? They got so many that's just like you. They could go get another one tomorrow. That y'all are all trophies. Then aside from the stuff that they tell y'all, they behaviors line up with it. They sleep with everybody you know. They give all of y'all the same dog tag, the same watch, the same BBL. They pick over y'all, so y'all always end up on the back line or the sideline for someone who's more respectable to be with in public. And all that math to women adds up to, he's crashing out because he loves me. This man crazy about me. I tell y'all all the time, you don't know men for real. You're in the matrix and you need to get out. This is not a game you will win because men are professionals at this because they have the tools to win this game. Women do not. This is not a game you will win. This game won't benefit you at all. Y'all love to justify bad behavior with, but the money. I'd rather cry in a band. You rather cry in your own. You rather not cry at all. Trust me. And y'all are so delusional. Why do you think a man with a bunch of options is about to make a choice? Why do you think a man with testosterone running rampant through his veins, he has access to everything and anybody, you think he about to say, oh, I just want to sit down with you. You think that's what a man about to do. And they tell y'all, I don't want to do that. I don't want to settle down. Matter of fact, I saw a clip of Omarion saying that, and the women in the audience was clapping. Not because they agree with him, but because women don't listen. Y'all don't listen when people are saying things. You just believe what you want to believe, and then you get your feelings hurt and want to make a part 27. You get shocked because the information that you wasn't listening to ends up being something that's part of your reality now. It's no surprise that the neighborhood dog is cheating on you. What? And then you think you getting upper hand because you calling him old. He's ruined your life for the last 10 years. So being old probably ain't that big of a deal, and he's sleeping with all of your friends. So being old really ain't the insult you think it is, maybe. And then everybody else want to get on here and say, oh, they in love, they both crashing out over each other. No, that's the life he likes to live. I told y'all, I'm a musician. I see what the ones who ain't making as much as Future doing, because they have access to women because of what things look like. They travel in the world. They making money. And women are blinded by that. Y'all want that. Stop acting like you only came for love. You want the money. You want the fame. You want the prestige. You want to brag to your girl that your man doing XYZ or that your man is XYZ. It don't matter how he treat you. So then why do we get in communities and be like, I just wanted to be loved? No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You don't got no self-worth. You ain't got no confidence, girl. You don't even really like yourself like that. Y'all be a little pathetic. And I'm telling you, this won't age well. And then you're going to have to go ahead and start going to church heavily. And you're going to have to just settle down with a deacon dog. Because that's all that's going to be available for you. We know how this pans out. We know how the young girl gets with the old dude. He ruined her life. And then she try to get out. Because he ain't going to never pick her. The guy end up with some woman very prestigious that got a lot of self-value when he want to settle down. And then the young hoe that he was messing with becomes she got to go to church. Clock the T. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. Get some grown folks in the chat, please. Tell me I'm lying because they done seen it too many times. This ain't cute. And all your friends need to stop lying to you. Take all that strip club money, girl, and go do your own thing. You too cute. You got way too much value to be sitting here going back and forth with a dog. Because the longer you go back and forth with him, the more your name gonna be attached with it. And you just gonna be a trophy. You just gonna be on the shelf of, look at what I did. Look at all the girls I slept with. Because he don't care about you, girl. This is a game. He don't care about you. He don't care about none of them girls he with. Just because he argue with you, just because he picking up the phone, he loves that. He has to have y'all as currency to keep him relevant. That reminds him that, oh, I'm still that dude. Because he got a bunch of losing their mind over him. And y'all think it's cute because of who he is. I got to go to the gym. Y'all done pissed me off today, but I'm going to be back.
Modern women think that they are the masters at hiding things, and that's why they brag. Some modern women brag about, oh, women cheat better. They can do this. Y'all just all out there with the way y'all cheat, but we really know how to get around, and we really know. They say that as a badge of honor. They say that because they think they're so slick, they're so deceitful that a man could never catch them. Oh, I've got the complete control. I've got the complete power. You don't have anything but a silly look on your face, like she said, when a man does you dirty and you can't figure out how to control this man, how to get this man back in the stable. He wasn't never in the stable. You met you a Chad. You met you a Tyrone. That's who you met. That man don't care nothing about your feelings. And you sitting up here thinking, oh, I'm going to do this. You ain't going to do nothing. You're not going to do nothing but sit up there with that man playing in your face. And then when he gets tired of you, you get discarded. Floyd Mayweather and all you women, and y'all mad at him. Have a good day.
So about 2 weeks ago, I told my fiance that he has to stop talking to his mother. And I know this sounds really harsh, but hear me out. Quinn and I had been dating about 6 months before I mentioned that I hadn't met his mother. So he was like, okay, let's meet her. And he arranged this whole thing for us. And she canceled on the day of meeting. I was like, okay, whatever. Fast forward about 3 to 4 months and Quinn moves in with me. This is my house that I bought with my money. At this point in time, Quinn and his mom meet up twice a week to cook. And this is from about like 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. But I wasn't invited. I was actually expected to be nowhere near the house while this was happening. So I went out on the town for like 3 hours waiting for them. I finally was like, okay, guys, I can't do this. Like, I can't be exiled from my own house. So I did tell him he needs to put up better boundaries with his mom. And he has been doing that, but there's so much more that she has been doing. She's been really like pushing back. She's essentially put me in competition with her for his time. So I feel like the ultimate solution is that he just has to kind of cut her off. I know that feels really harsh, but I think it's just going to keep getting worse and worse. So my fiance and I decided to split up yesterday. Ultimately, he told me that he has a moral obligation to his mom and that he cannot do no contact. And the hard part about all of this is that he kept telling me, you know, if it was a choice, I'd choose you in a heartbeat. And he didn't. He chose her. I feel like his one job was to protect me and to shield me. And instead, I ended up getting blamed for a lot of things. Sometimes people come into your life for a purpose. I think my purpose was to help open his eyes and see that the world could be a beautiful place. And I tried to say things like, you don't have to take the disrespect. You can be respected and you can be loved properly. But I think when you grow up in a household with all these toxic patterns, you don't really know better. But ultimately, if he couldn't stand up to her, then I had to stand up for myself. So that's kind of where we are now.
So I think both of you have an issue. I watched some of her other videos, and I'll show that in a minute. But you, after, it sounds like 6 months, try to tell him he needs to go no contact with his mother. Now, true enough, kicking me out of my own house, that's not going to fly. You screaming and hollering and doing all that weird stuff as the mother, talking about the mother now. I don't know what you're up to, but we're not going to be doing that. Not around my house. I know this is your son, it's your baby, but you as a grown woman need to learn how to act. That's period, first and foremost. Be respectful about how you're going to say it to her, but we're not going to be having that. Okay, we need to come to some agreement. But for you to say, after 6 months, he needs to go no contact, it sounds like you're struggling a little bit with where you need to be. There was a certain way that you should have communicated that. There's a certain talk that you should have had, and it doesn't sound like you did that effectively, right? And I'm saying to you right now that she might have a problem understanding how to maneuver around authority because of this video. And it's basically about her getting a tattoo and then trying to generalize from what her dad's reaction was, that all men do this.
Apparently, as we're discussing who owns women's bodies, we do, by the way, own our own bodies. But it occurred to me that apparently men have always thought that they've owned women's bodies. The moment I turned 18, I decided I wanted to get my first tattoo, so I got these very cute little birds on my shoulder, and it was not a lot of time until my dad found out about it. And then I decided I'm gonna keep getting tattoos, but I'm gonna get them, you know, where I can cover them up. But I messed up and I got one here on my arm. I don't think he knows about it. But I'm a 30-year-old woman. He doesn't own my body. I own my body. I decide what I want to put on my body. This was just a huge wake-up call, and I do wonder how many of us are just kind of operating with like foundational thoughts like this.
So a couple of things here. And the first one is, yes, you are right. He probably needs to set boundaries for his mother. And that whole, her flipping out and stuff, that does not need to happen. So I agree with you there. But number two is, I think you have a problem speaking out of turn. And I'll tell you why. After watching the video about her dad, she generalized that men they think they own women's bodies, yada, yada, yada. And there was a woman in the comments that said, no, that's your dad that does that. My dad, when I got tattoos, he could care less. What she's doing is basically in both of these scenarios saying, well, you know, I feel like this is what's best for me, right? Even though this is going to benefit you because you're setting boundaries with your mother, it's best for me because, quite honestly, your mom's a jerk to me. I don't like her. She's putting up a fight, and then she's going to basically give me trouble, which I get it. I get it. A lot of people complain about mother-in-law, father-in-law. I understand it. I get it totally. But I think my point is, where you spoke out of turn is, instead of saying, you know, babe, I really think you need to start establishing some boundaries with your mom because she's doing X, Y, and Z, and having the conversation in an effective manner. You decided, and I got the number wrong on this. I said 6 months. Looked like you guys have been going out, courting or whatever you want to call it, for probably closer to a year, a little over a year. Let's say a year and a half. Let's say 2 years, just to give you a whole lot of grace. You decide, after knowing him for 2 years, that you can tell him to cut his mother off. Interesting. She's not out on the street, a fiend, an addict. She's not committing crimes. It's just that she's a headache to you, right? And eventually, yeah, probably going to be a headache to him. Okay. But for you to say, let's say you're 30, let's say the man's 25. Let's say the man is 20. That man has known her for 20 years. For 20 years, he has known that woman. And for somebody to come in after 2 years and say, you need to kick her to the curb, not set healthy boundaries, but you need to forget her altogether, go no contact. Who do you think that you are? You're speaking out of turn. And y'all want to say it's her that dodged a bullet.